Hello and welcome to week 3 of Health 135. I hope that you have been enjoying the content so far and starting to interact with all of your classmates. As I said, this is a large class, but I love seeing how we are starting to build connections and relationships with each other as we do some of these discussion boards and blogs. So just so you know, most weeks you will have either a discussion board or a blog. There will be some weeks where I don't have you do any of that, just simply logging on to Blackboard is going to be your participation. And if that's the case, then I'll let you know in the announcement. But anytime that you have a discussion board or a blog that's due, it's always due by Sunday of the week that it was assigned. Your main assignments, like the growth brochure and newsletter that we're going to be going over for this week, those will have due dates that are going to be a few weeks in the future. But the discussion board and the blogs, any of those are counted as your weekly participation. So hopefully that clears things up a little bit. But I did want to highlight a few things in Blackboard pertaining to the blogs as well as the course schedule before we jump into this week. So if you noticed last week, I sent an announcement that said new course schedule. And so when you click where it says you can access it here, it should open up a new Microsoft Word document that I created that hopefully this will be a little bit more user-friendly for you. I completely agreed that I didn't like the format of the other one. I thought that it was slightly hard to follow, and so hopefully this week by week one will tell you exactly what it is that we're going to be going over, remind you of the unit that we're in, as well as any of your weekly announcements and assignments. So that was in last week's discussion in the announcements. The other thing I wanted to point out was the blog. So I got a lot of questions about how do I see other people's blogs and how do I comment on them. And so I wanted to show you how to do that. For the first blog, as long as you posted a resource and gave the summary, I gave you credit for it. I gave full credit for your participation, even if you didn't respond to 2 of your classmates, just because for a lot of you, this was the first time that you were actually having to do a blog. But in the future, I will be expecting that you're going to respond to at least 2 of your classmates. But when you click on blogs over on the left-hand menu, the one that we're doing for this week is foundations. And so when I click on that, where you see your name over on the right-hand side, if you were to do the down arrow, you'll see all of the other ones that have already been posted. And when you click on one of them, when you go to the bottom, you'll see a little box that says comment. And so all you have to do is click on that, and then you'll be able to comment, and that will count as your extra participation. So hopefully that kind of clears up how to do the blog. But for this week, we're moving into Unit 2, where we're going to be talking about health. And so this chapter, I'm asking you to read Chapter 2 and to look at the PowerPoint for Chapter 2. It's a very easy read. It's not a long chapter for this week, but it's got some great information in there about the importance of not only healthy development in children, but things that we should look for. Because really, the main thing that we're going to be doing is observing children. So the chapter gives you some great charts, some great checklists that you can use to kind of determine whether or not children are developing in a healthy way. Another thing I really liked about this chapter was the importance they placed on communicating with families. So when it comes to the healthy development of children, it is going to be critical that we're working with the families to ensure that children are developing in the healthiest way possible. So when you look into Blackboard for this week, you're going to go to Unit 2, because we have now moved out of the interrelationship of the 3 concepts, and this time we're only going to be looking at health. And so you'll see that we're going to be covering this for 3 weeks. So weeks 3, 4, and 5 are going to be all about health. So when you click into Unit 2, you'll see that the My notes are in here. This is a funny little parody video for you as we are talking about getting into health and safety. So hopefully that will make you smile. And here is our overview so you can see that we're going to be doing this for 3 weeks. So when you click on week 3 and you go to your required reading, you'll see that the only thing I'm asking you to read for this week is chapter 2. And like I said, it is not a long chapter and it's not a difficult read either. And the PowerPoint that goes along with it is going to be here for you to access. So once you've done that, the next resource that I want you to look at is this website. It's got PowerPoints on there, but when you click there, you're going to see that it has, make sure that you have Flash, but it is a PowerPoint PowerPoint on daily health observation training for child care providers. And like I said, the chapter does a really good job of talking about the importance of the observations. And so that's really what this training is going to do. So after you have viewed that, the next thing you're going to do is your discussion board. And so when you go to click into the assignments and assessments, you will see here's the direction. So again, this is the PowerPoint presentation. And when you're done with that, I'm going to do, it's called a 3-2-1. So what I want you to post are 3 things that you learned, 2 things that surprised you, and 1 way that you feel daily health observations are helpful. So once you've done that posting, just make sure you respond to at least 2 of your classmates. So remember, when it comes to the discussion boards and the blogs, half of your participation, which is 50 points, comes from your posting, and the other 50 points comes from responding to at least 2 of your classmates in a substantive way. It can't be, great post, I liked what you said, I agree. But y'all have been doing a great job about that, so I'm not concerned about that at all. But the other thing that you are going to do this week is you're going to start on your first assignment, which is a growth brochure, flyer, newsletter. It's going to be completely up to you. So this is going to be due at the end of week 5. So you have several weeks to work on it. This is not a difficult assignment. Hopefully you're going to find that it's fun because it's allowing you to be in charge of the information and how you create it. So when you click on the folder, you will see the instructions, and it's a very, very simple assignment. When you went through chapter 1 specifically, you will see that they were really talking about the different growth milestones. And we're not necessarily saying like the Virginia milestones of child development, but more like these are the benchmarks of what's happening at the different ages. And so this is some great information to give to families so that they understand what is typically developing in children at these different ages. So you're going to create either a newsletter, a flyer, a brochure, something that you would be able to give to families that would highlight these different developmental milestones. And so you need to address 3 different age groups. And the chapter 1 breaks it down that way anyways. So there needs to be a section for infants, a section for toddlers, and then a section for preschool or early school age. And so I've already told you this is where you can find this information, but you are also welcome to bring in outside resources, just like you had to when you did your blog last week. The whole purpose of having you do the blog last week was so that you understood how to find scholarly resources. So if you've never done anything like this before, my counterpart over in Portsmouth, Jeannie Hopkins, she created this YouTube tutorial to show you how you can create a brochure or a newsletter in Microsoft Word. They've got templates in there for you, so you don't even have to worry about creating your own, but you have complete creative license. So if these are the kinds of things you like to do, please have fun, go for it. Because I want it to be meaningful to you, and I want it to be something that you feel like you'll be able to use in the future. So here's the grading rubric for it. You'll see that really content is the main portion, but creativity and then obviously checking your spelling and your grammar, because you don't want to give anything to families that has misspellings on it. And then the last thing that you will see is the submission link. So when you, I'm trying to get down here to it so you can see it, but at the very bottom, you'll see that there's a place where it says growth brochure. And when you click on that, it's going to bring you a screen that looks like this. And all you have to do, browse your computer so that you can attach your file. And then when you're done, you click submit down at the very bottom, and it goes directly into Blackboard so that I can grade it from there. So again, it's not due until the end of week 5. You are welcome to submit it as soon as you're done with it. You don't have to wait until the last minute to get it done. So especially since this is still the beginning of the semester, you may find that you have more time to get these things done now because you don't have as many other assignments and other classes. So, so that really is going to take care of week 3 as we start looking at health. So I look forward to reading your observation 321 and your discussion board. And keep up the good work. Have a great week, and I will see you in week 4.